Most people think building a V-taper without a gym is almost impossible. No lat pull-downs. No cable rows. No lateral raise machines. So they do push-ups, crunches, and planks at home, and wonder why their physique barely changes. But here's what almost nobody tells you. Your muscles don't care whether resistance comes from a machine, dumbbell, or your own body weight. What matters is whether you create enough tension. And whether that challenge gets harder over time. And there's one major mistake that makes most home workouts terrible for building a V-taper. They're barely training one of the biggest muscles responsible for upper body width. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that muscle is, how to train it at home, how to build wider looking shoulders, and why you don't actually need to make your waist smaller to create a stronger V-taper. Because here's what happens when you get this wrong. You can become stronger at push-ups. You can do 100 crunches. You can hold a plank for 2 minutes. But your shoulders still look narrow. Your back still looks flat. And your waist doesn't suddenly look smaller. That's because a V-taper isn't created by endlessly training your waist. It's created by making the frame around your waist wider. And that starts with your back. Your latissimus dorsi. Your lats are large muscles that contribute heavily to the width of your upper body. Think of them as the wings of your torso. As they develop, they can make your upper body look broader and create more contrast with your waist. But here's the problem. Most home workouts are dominated by pushing movements. Push-ups, dips, pike push-ups. They're great exercises. But they don't solve the biggest problem. Your lats are primarily responsible for pulling your upper arm down and back. So if your workout contains almost no pulling, you're leaving one of the biggest contributors to your V-taper undertrained. So what's the home exercise that fixes this? Rows. A sturdy table row can be one option. You can also use a properly secured towel or another safe anchor for pulling variations. The goal is simple. Pull your chest toward the anchor while keeping the movement controlled. Don't just move your arms. Think about driving your elbows back and controlling the entire repetition. And here's where bodyweight training gets interesting. When a normal row becomes easy, you don't need to abandon it. You make it harder. Elevate your feet. Slow the lowering phase. Pause at the top. Add a loaded backpack. Or progress to a harder variation. That's progressive overload. And it's the difference between randomly exercising and actually training for muscle growth. But now comes the part most people completely overlook. Your back isn't the only thing creating the V-taper. Your shoulders matter too. Specifically, your side delts. Your lats create width lower down, while your side delts help push your shoulder line outward. And that creates something incredibly important. Visual contrast. The wider your shoulders become compared with your waist, the stronger the V-taper can look. But here's the mistake. Most people train their shoulders almost entirely through pressing. Push-ups. Pike push-ups. Handstand push-ups. These can build strong shoulders, but they don't give your side delts the same direct challenge as lateral raise movements. So if shoulder width is the goal, give the side delts their own work. And you don't necessarily need dumbbells. Use water bottles, water jugs, a loaded backpack, or another household object that gives you manageable resistance. Perform lateral raise variations slowly. Don't swing. Don't turn the movement into a full body exercise. Keep the tension where you want it. And once that resistance becomes too easy, increase it. Because again, progression is what drives adaptation. Now here's where the V-taper gets interesting. You could build bigger lats. You could build wider shoulders. And still feel like your V-taper isn't impressive. Why? Because of the waist-to-shoulder ratio. But this doesn't mean you need to destroy your abs every day. In fact, that's one of the biggest misconceptions. You cannot choose where your body loses fat. Hundreds of crunches won't specifically burn belly fat. Your body decides where fat comes off. So if you want a smaller-looking waist, the answer isn't endless of exercises. It's building the upper body. And getting lean enough for the contrast to actually show. Think about it. You don't necessarily need a dramatically smaller waist. You need more width above it. That's the visual trick. For your core, focus on stability. Planks. Dead bugs. Plank shoulder taps. Controlled anti-rotation variations. The goal is to build a strong core that supports your training. Not spend half your workout doing hundreds of repetitions that don't address the real problem. And there's one more mistake that can quietly ruin your home workouts. Turning everything into cardio. If every exercise is performed as fast as possible, with hundreds of repetitions, and almost no meaningful resistance, you might finish completely exhausted. But exhaustion isn't the goal. A strong training stimulus is. So instead of asking, "How tired did this workout make me?" ask, Did I make the target muscle work harder than it did before? That's the question that actually matters. Now let's turn all of this into a simple system. If I were building a V-taper at home, I'd focus on 4 things. Number 1, train your pulling muscles at least twice per week. Use rows or another safe pulling variation, and progressively make them harder. Number 2, train your side delts. Use lateral raise variations with household resistance. Control the reps. Then gradually increase the challenge. Number 3, train your core for stability. Use planks, dead bugs, and anti-rotation movements. Don't rely on endless crunches to try to shrink your waist. Number 4, progress everything. More resistance. More reps. Better range of motion. Slower tempo. Harder variations. Your training needs to evolve as you get stronger. Because if you perform the exact same workout for 6 months, your body has very little reason to keep making dramatic changes. And don't judge the entire process after 1 week. Building muscle takes time. Train consistently. Eat enough protein. Recover properly. And track your progress over several weeks instead of judging your physique in the mirror every morning. Because here's the real lesson. You don't need a gym to build a V-taper. You need a wider back. You need broader looking shoulders. You need a lean enough waist for the contrast to show. And most importantly, you need progressive overload. So stop training just to get tired. Train the muscles that create the shape. Build the back. Build the side delts. Train your core intelligently. And make the exercises harder as you get stronger. Do that consistently, and your living room can become a legitimate place to build muscle. If you want more science-backed physique breakdowns that cut through fitness myths and show you what actually works, subscribe to FitLab. Because your next workout shouldn't just make you tired. It should give your body a reason to change.